guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to WyzGyzEntertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by our very special guest, the Moral Compass, Mark Poulton. How's it going, man?
It's going great, man. Thanks for having me.
Nice. Yeah, definitely good to have you again. As we spoke briefly about previously, you were last year for U.S. Assassin.
Yeah, that's right.
Which did really well, from what I recall.
Yeah, not too bad.
Nice. So I wanted to take a moment and, well, first off, how have you been?
I've been great. Real busy. Just working on a ton of projects. Graveyard shift just went off to the printer, so John and I should be signing them and fulfilling that soon for everyone.
Oh, nice. Looking forward to that book too.
No, thank you.
There's all kinds of great stuff in the works on the way. Yeah, so for those of you, well, for those out there who may not be familiar, I like to, on my channel, do like a deeper dive and get to know the creators more, and more or less get the origin story, quote unquote, on the creator, and get to know a little more. What was it like growing up? What kinds of stuff were you into, whether it be comics, toys, movies, cartoons? And what were the major milestones through your life that led you to become this independent creator?
Growing up, I was into, I think, a lot of the same stuff that other people my age were. I loved the Super Friends, Star Wars, big fan of the original trilogy of Star Wars. And then the 80s when G.I. Joe Transformers debuted. I think that's like really when my fandom started off. I loved G.I. Joe. It was my favorite cartoon. I was collecting the toys. I got a paper route just so I could buy like every G.I. Joe figure and vehicle I wanted. And then watching TV one day, I saw a commercial for G.I. Joe. They did it so well. They tied it, the cartoon, the toy, and then at the end they said, for more adventures of G.I. Joe, check out Marvel Comics number whatever. And I was like, what? There's comic books? And I like ran to my mom. I was like, we need to go to a store so I can get this comic book. And she took me to Walden Books in our local shopping mall. And I got my very first issue of G.I. Joe. I want to say it was G.I. Joe 2028, I think. It had Ace and Wild Weasel in a dogfight for the issue. And I was so excited that there was like more. I could dive deeper into G.I. Joe and get more adventures out of it. So I cut the little coupon out of the back of the comic, and I got a subscription to that. And I just loved G.I. Joe. But then I started seeing ads for other books in the comics, and I was like, wow, these actually look pretty cool. And there was a flea market nearby that my dad would take me to like maybe every other weekend, and they had a newsstand where they sold comics 8 for $1. And I would just pick up like Amazing Spider-Man, X-Men, The Flash, Batman. I would just grab like anything that had a cool cover, because when you're little, that's how you judge if a comic book is good or not. How awesome the cover is. So that got me into like reading different types of comic books. And then when I found out there was oh, what's up, Hex? When I found out that there was actually like stores dedicated strictly to comics, I was blown away. And
Yeah.
that's how I started filling in all the holes to my G.I. Joe collection. So I would say like 90s is when, like, to me, I started realizing like the people who made the comics, because there started to be like certain artists who really stood out to me, and those were like your Todd McFarlane, your Jim Lee. My guy was Rob Liefeld. There's just something about his artwork that just I was attracted to. He just made everything cool. His style was really dynamic, and that's when I started thinking that's what I want to do when I get older. I want to make comic books. And just through like the 90s explosion with like Wizard magazine, there was more comic cons. You got to learn a little more about these creators, and like Rob Liefeld's only maybe, I don't know, 6 years older than me, probably. To see like a guy that was close to my age, like succeeding and doing well, I was like, oh, I think, I think I really could do this. But it was still like such a mystery how to make comics. Like I would ask creators at conventions, like, how do you break in? And they were like, oh, you don't want to work in this industry. I couldn't get a straight answer from anyone. And it's funny because at the time I was in college at that point. I had met some friends who also were into comics, and we wanted to make our own comics. We actually made a comic book that was never released. It's actually like the 25th anniversary of it, and I'm considering just putting it out, just so it could finally have like be distributed. But it was called The Holiday Commandos, and it was about a group of heroes in Philadelphia, who they were each based on a different holiday. Like the leader was like a mall Santa. All a bunch of crazy characters, and except for Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was part of the team. He was just immortal for some reason. It was ridiculous, but it was a lot of fun. And I at the time I was like, yeah, this is going to be the next big thing. But I couldn't figure out, like, for the life of me, how to get it published or anything, because the internet wasn't really that prevalent back then. But another of my interests was movies, and at that same time you had like a big indie revolution in movies with like Kevin Smith and Robert Rodriguez making films on like little to no budgets, and they were like big cheerleaders of this indie movement, saying like anyone can make movies. And they put out books. Robert Rodriguez put out a book, Rebel Without a Crew, which became like my Bible. I was like, yeah, anyone can get into movies. I don't know how to make comic books, but movies seem like a lot easier to break into. So I started writing screenplays and just sending them out to agents and stuff. And I landed an agent. This was early 2000s. At the time, there was a big teen comedy craze with like the American Pie movies. Freddie Prinze Jr. was big. Sean William Scott, Jason Biggs, those guys. And I had got an agent based off a screenplay I wrote called Undercover High. And basically, it's just based off my love of 21 Jump Street.
Okay.
And I got an agent, and he was like, "Mark, this is a great script, but I can't sell it because Columbine had happened, and they're like, no studio is going to make like a violent high school movie." He was like, "But I can tell you're a good writer. What else do you have?" And I was just giving him different scripts, and nothing was happening. And I had a 6-month contract with this agent, and he was like, "Mark, Nothing's happening. Do you have anything else you're working on? And I said, well, I have this teen comedy that I think is great. And he goes, well, send it to me when you're done, because your contract's about to run out, and I want to re-up you if this script's good. So I sent him this script I wrote called "Give Me Back My Stuff," and it was based off my first girlfriend dumping me. And I left my comics at her house, and I had to get them back. I was more concerned getting my comics back than getting her back. And I thought this script was hysterical, and I sent it to the agent, and I got I was at my day job, and I came home, and there was a message on my machine from him, and he was like, "Mark, I just read Give Me Back My Stuff. I don't know how to tell you this, but let me put it this way. Fast Times at Ridgemont High is a great teen comedy. Give Me Back My Stuff isn't." and he was like, I'm sorry, there's just nothing I can do for you right now. Good luck, keep writing. And that's how my time with an agent ended. And I was like, man, I think this script is really good. I gotta try to do something with it myself. And like one of the tricks I learned from reading like those books by Kevin Smith and Robert Rodriguez was there was a thing at the time called the Hollywood Creative Directory, and it was just a book published that had every production company's address listed in it. Basically, it was like a phone book for Hollywood. And I bought a copy of that, and I sent out letters to like every company in there, and I ended up with a little bidding war for give me back my stuff.
Really?
Yeah, there was two production companies that were interested in it. One was a company, and I think this script.
All right.
Yeah, this one company, they liked it, but they thought it needed some work, and they wanted me to rewrite it first. And then this other producer, he was like, he loved it. He was like, Mark, I know there's other people interested in this script, and I'm going to tell you, I love it just the way it is. And he goes, and another thing, he goes, I know you're a comic guy. I produced the live action Fist of the North Star movie. And I was like, oh, this guy gets me. Did you ever see that movie with Gary Daniels? Chris Penn was in it. Vader, the pro wrestler, was in it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So I ended up signing with him. His name was Zane Levitt. At the time, he had just put out a movie with Drew Barrymore, which was like one of her big comeback movies called Gun Crazy. And he did a kid's movie about a dog called Shiloh. But he was like 100% on board. He loved Give Me Back My Stuff. I signed with him. He invited me out to his mansion in Hollywood Hills. And I just had started dating my wife at the time, and she went out with me. We were so excited. A mansion in the Hollywood Hills is just like a regular house in the suburbs where I live. I guess just because of location, it's like a $1 million home. But we go out to meet with him. He takes us to his office, and he was like, Mark, come with me. I got to take you somewhere. And he was like, he goes, I know you were talking with, I forget the name of the company. And he goes, I know they were interested in Give Me Back My Stuff too. Just bear with me. I have to do this. And he knocks on a door, and they answer, and he goes, hey guys, remember that script you really loved, Give Me Back My Stuff? I signed him. He's right here. he worked right next door to the other company.
Oh, he was bragging.
Yeah. So yes. So he had the rights for that script for about a year, and there were so many close calls. So many times we thought the movie was going to get made, and that agreement was coming up, and we all had already agreed he was going to re-up the option, and I was going to get more money. And I was just like, he seemed like so, like he believed in the script, he believed in me, and I was like, yeah, I'll let this guy try to make it for the rest of my life because he believes in me. And then one day, after the option expires, I was just like waiting for my check for the re-option. I get a call from his business partner, who is like the money person for his business, and like, Mark, have you heard from Zane recently? And I was like, no, I'm just waiting for this re-option to happen. And she was like, yeah, a lot of people are. We sent him the money and he disappeared.
Oh no!
Yeah.
This is a scam artist. Oh.
Yeah. So the rights to give me back my stuff came back to me, and I was pretty done with Hollywood at that point. I was like,
further, I just wanted to ask.
Yeah.
So you're still pretty young. You're doing all these screenplays and stuff. How do you know how to get a hold of agents in the first place? Do you just check the white pages?
Yeah, I mean, there was just a directory with all these literary agents out in Hollywood that I just, would I'd either find their website or their mailing address, and I would send them letters or emails saying, hey, this is who I am, this is the script I have, and I'd give them like a little pitch and see if they were interested in it. And most of the times I'd just get companies would ignore me, or they would like thank me for my time and tell me like that my letter was professional, stuff like that. And then other times we're like, yeah, send us the script, it sounds awesome. So it was just like almost like being a door-to-door salesman, but instead of knocking on doors, I just sent like letters out to these agents back in the day.
Yeah, I heard about that being the process.
Yeah.
And what was it, because you were young and like nothing can stop you, and you were fearless? That was it one of those things where, like, the first thing that comes to mind is like, what if I shared the story and everything, especially if it's a whole script for a movie, and then the agent takes off with it and gets it produced and claims it as their own.
Whenever I finished a script, I would copyright it. I would send it to the Library of Congress and have it copyrighted, just in case anything like that would happen. So I didn't really worry about that. I thought I had my bases covered on that point.
Right.
Yeah. So like once that was done, I was kind of like beaten up by the whole movie making system, and at that point I started realizing like the internet was, like I said, was more prevalent at this point, and I started finding like indie publishers popping up online, and they would have like their submission guidelines, stuff like that. And I told one of my friends that I made the Hollywood Commandos book with, I was like, we need to get back to try to make comics. And he agreed, and he was interning at the time with another artist, and he told the artist he was interning for that him and I wanted to make a book if he wanted to join us, and he was like, yeah. So I went over to their office one day, and we just started brainstorming ideas, and they both of them, they gave me ground rules of like, this is the only type of books they want to draw. It had to have a hot girl in it. It couldn't be superhero. So we came up with this idea called Coney Waves, about a detective, female detective in Hawaii who solves supernatural mysteries, kind of like Hawaii Five-0 meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right.
And we completed a whole issue, and we shopped it around, and we actually got interest from a bunch of publishers, and we finally settled on Arcana Studio, which was a publisher based out of Canada. And they released the Coney Waves. I still remember the first issue came out in it was 2006, and the same day Coney Waves came out, the first issue of Infinite Crisis and the last issue of Civil War dropped the same day. So I was like, oh, what a terrible time to come out. no one's gonna read this little indie book when you have two heavy hitters like that.
No, that's competition.
Yeah, but we oh, what's up, Eddie? It's good to see you in the chat. We had some some decent reviews, and Coney Waves led to a second volume of Coney Waves, and from there, I started doing a lot of work for Arcana Studio. They actually hired me at the time to be their head of marketing, just because the owner said, "Hey, do you know anyone who can write press releases?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know how to write press releases." I didn't know how to write press releases. I just went online and found like a template on how to write press releases, and he was just impressed with the work I did, and I just started working with him more and more, to eventually he was like, the company was growing leaps and bounds. He made me the vice president of production, and I was in charge of submissions. I worked for them for maybe like five years, and over that time we published over 300 graphic novels. Yeah, it was amazing. It was a big learning experience, and all that time that I was doing that and helping them publish books, I was also working on my own writing. Most of my books at the time were coming out through Arcana, but at the same time, I'm a huge 90s fan. I'm a huge Rob Liefeld fan. I'm on his message board, just trying to promote my books, but also just being a fanboy for Rob, and he took notice to it. He was impressed with what I was doing with Coney Waves, and he was like just really supportive. And one day I decided to take a chance, and I DM'd him and I said, "Hey Rob, what do I need to do to one day work with you?" And he messaged me back, and he was like, "Mark, I think we're going to work together one day." And I thought that was nice, but I was like, yeah, there's no way we're going to work together. But then I think it was Thanksgiving 2006. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize on my cell phone, and I answered it. And I said, "Hello?" And on the other end, I hear, "Poulton, it's Liefeld. What's up?" And I couldn't believe it. He talked my ear off for like 2 hours straight. I don't think I said one word except for but he just told me he was hanging out at his house waiting for his Thanksgiving dinner. He got one of the guys from the message board. He tracked my number down through one of them, and he gave me a call because he was really impressed with everything I was doing, and he was thinking about bringing Evangeline back, and he wanted me to be the writer of it. And he said he didn't know when this was going to happen, but he said, "In the meantime, I'm giving you a license to do a Coney Waves Evangeline crossover, a one shot." He says, "You do that, and I'll think of how we're going to launch this Evangeline series." So I did the Coney Waves Evangeline crossover, and then he would just give me different work throughout the I guess years it was. He had me script a short story for Image United, one of the few issues of Image United that actually came out. I scripted a Bloodstrike story for him. I scripted a Brigade relaunch for Image. Sometimes I think he just gave me busy work just so I would stop asking about Evangeline. But I never stopped asking it. That's like one piece of advice for like aspiring creators. Like sometimes you have to, like Rob nicknamed me the squeaky wheel because I wouldn't let him forget about Evangeline. Sometimes you have to be that person.
Yeah,
you have to be persistent. And finally, it was I guess 2011. We found the right artist. We did Evangeline. and it was awesome. One of the best experiences as a creator. Rob was very hands off with the book. He let me and the artist Owen Jenny just pretty much have free reign on whatever we wanted.
Wow.
And yeah, and at the same time, Rob was starting to do work for DC because it was the new 52, and they gave him a bunch of new books to do. They gave him Grifter, Deathstroke. He had been working on Hawk and Dove, but they gave him Grifter, Deathstroke, and Hawkman. And they wanted him to do these, and he said, yeah, I can do them, but I'm going to need some help. And they said, who do you want to work with? And he goes, well, I want Mark Poulton on one of the books. And they were like, all right, we'll give you Mark, but you have to take like someone else on another book. And so he took the trade off, and he got me on Hawkman, which was awesome. Hawkman's actually one of my favorite DC characters. One of the very first sketch I got at a Comic-Con was a Hawkman sketch from Steve Lieber, or Leiber, I guess his name is pronounced. Yeah, so it was cool. It was like coming for full circle from a fanboy to writing or co-writing Hawkman with Rob Liefeld.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and you know, Hawkman lasted like 6 issues. There was a lot of drama with DC at the time.
Really? What for?
Yeah. Well, Rob publicly quit one day on Twitter, and I found out I no longer had a job on the internet.
Oh no!
Yeah, but I mean, to me, it was just easy come, easy go. You know, I got to work with great people. I got to work with Rob, who was my hero when I was younger. Joe Bennett was the artist of Hawkman, and Art T. Bear was the inker. So it was like a dream team. All of them had extreme ties. So I was a happy fanboy. And you know, once that ended, I rolled back into doing my own stuff. I started. I did a bunch of children's books. And all that time, John Malin and I, we were developing Graveyard Shift. Graveyard Shift actually first started back in 2010. We even did a Comic-Con. I think in 2011 we did a Comic-Con with a preview book of Graveyard Shift. And when I was writing Evangeline, we actually got permission from Rob to run Graveyard Shift as a backup story.
Really?
Yeah, but Evangeline was canceled before the very first installment of Graveyard Shift ever ran in the book.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So there was times I thought Graveyard Shift would never happen because John would just get work. When we first started Graveyard Shift, I showed it to Rob Liefeld because I was so proud of it, and Rob flipped out for it. He loved it. He loved it so much that he asked if he could have John for the relaunch of Youngblood. And I wasn't going to stop John from getting a paycheck. So Graveyard Shift got put on the back burner for a while, and then you know, once Youngblood ended, we started back work on it again. But then John started working for Marvel, and it just got pushed on the back burner again until the stars aligned and Comicsgate happened, and we finally got to release this passion project of ours. I think it was 8 years before, from the first time we first started, when I first pitched the idea of Graveyard Shift to John. From that moment, it took 8 years to finally get that Indiegogo campaign to happen and get it out to people. Wow.
Yeah, going back a little bit, because I was real curious, and because I like Evangeline.
Yeah.
It did. So the Evangeline didn't ever get released after all?
It did get released. I wrote, I forget how many issues came out. 8 or 9. I think there's 11 issues that are. I think 7 or 8 got released in print, and then the next 3 ran digitally as a web comic on KeenSpot, And I think the whole series is still up on the Keen Spot website, which is crazy because it got canceled. I don't know, 9 years ago, and it's still up running on their website. Last I checked, I think it had like 4 million hits on it. So people are still reading it.
So they, so did it? You had like a crossover between Coney Waves and Evangeline. Was that like a single issue, or was it like a 4-part miniseries, or?
It was just a one shot. When Rob offered the license to me, he stated that it could only be a one shot.
And then from there, that kind of launched the re-entry of Evangeline.
Yep.
And, several issues were printed, and then, like you said, the last 3 went digital. Do you know if they ever made a trade paperback of it?
Yeah, there's a hardcover collection of the first 6 issues, I think, which is it's really good. It's like one of my favorite works. I'm really proud of it. Not just for my work, but the artist Owen Jenny. He was awesome, and actually, it's some of the earliest work with me and John, because John did a lot of the backup stories in Evangeline. We would do at the end of every issue, we would do like a quick 2-page origin story on one of the characters, since we were reintroducing all these characters to a new audience. And John did like I think the first 2 or 3 backup stories for us, and he did a bunch of pinups for the book as well.
And so you and Malin and Tiber and all of you guys kind of came up around the same time. It sounds like you guys have been friends for years.
Well, John and I, we've been friends since, I would say, like 2004 or 5. Art Tiber was he was part of that extreme group before us, like the original like early 90s stuff. But I have known Art since working on Hawkman with him, which was 2012.
Does that mean Extreme Studios? Does that mean you also worked with Frege?
No, Frege was before me. Like the Extreme Studios guys were like the 90s guys. I didn't work with Extreme Studios. Was done by that point when I worked on Evangeline. Although I did hide the Extreme Studios inside the inside cover every issue, just as a fanboy. I wanted to pretend I still I got to work for Extreme.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's actually funny. At that time when I was doing Evangeline, they actually announced an Extreme relaunch of Liefeld's other properties, Prophet, Glory, Bloodstrike, Supreme, and Youngblood. And Eric Stevenson, the editor-in-chief of Image, he emailed me and he was like, "Mark, Rob tells me you have the Extreme logo. Can you send it to us?" I was like, "Sure."
Oh man! And Coney Waves, how many issues were there total?
So the first volume was 4 issues, and then after that it just went to graphic novel format. So we did, if you count the first volume as a graphic novel, there was 4 volumes of Coney Waves.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We actually 2010 we had optioned Coney Waves for a television series, and we thought it was going to happen. We thought it was going to happen so much that we had this big signing at San Diego Comic-Con 2010. The show was being developed by Barney Cohen, who was the creator of the Sabrina the Teenage Witch TV series. And he was like, "This is going to be my next big thing." We had Melise Zhao, who played Dr. Light on the Flash TV show.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, this was before then. She was signed on to be Coney. She came in for the signing. It was awesome. We signed for like 2 hours straight. Me and my buddies that we made Coney Waves with afterwards, we were like on cloud nine. Like, this is the greatest day of our lives. We're going to have a TV show, and it's going to be filmed in Hawaii. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And none of that ever happened, but it was great to dream about it.
How did that fall through? Was it budgetary issues, or did they?
It just the producer kept trying to get the funds for it. We had an offer on the table, and he thought there was a bigger offer out there, and probably should have took the offer that was on the table. The offer on the table is always better than the offer that's not there.
That's true, but I don't know if you had any insight as to what the offer was. But do you think it would have been enough to have properly produced it?
It probably would have been a lower budget version of what we were hoping for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did that lead? So you worked on Graveyard Shift finally, and how did U.S. Assassins come into play?
So one of the lessons I learned from when I lost my job at DC was to always have another project ready to go. So when one thing doesn't work out, you have that next project. So after Hawkman, I just started working on a ton of different projects. So I had Graveyard Shift going. One of our John and my mutual friends is artist Mike McMahon. And Mike and I had tried to work together on stuff in the past, and it just didn't work out for whatever reason. So I hit him up again and said, hey, I have this idea for a comic book. It's sort of like The Dark Knight meets American Ninja, the old Michael Dudikoff.
Oh man, that was a fun movie.
Yeah, I love that franchise, and Mike seems to have all the same likes for old 80s action films. So he was on board, and originally it was just going to be a one-shot graphic novel, because like the pitch is The Dark Knight meets American Ninja. It was going to be this character's like last time putting on the costume to be U.S. Assassin one last time. But along the way, Mike and I just had so much fun working on the book. And at the time, we were doing Graveyard Shift 2. We were getting ready to do the campaign for it. And John and I were talking about possible stretch goals. And John was like, what do you think? How about we, for some ridiculous number like $170,000, we offer a whole other book? He was like, we probably won't hit it, but it'll be something big if we do. And he was like, what do you think? Would you and Mike be interested in having U.S. Assassin be that free book to go out to everyone? And I was like, yeah, I'm all for it. Let me ask Mike, though, because he's the one who is, putting in all this work as an artist, and he's basically going to give this book away for free. We compensated him, but probably not as much. He obviously probably would have made more if we did our own crowdfunder for U.S. Assassin, but the fact that we could get it out to all these people, because Graveyard Shift books are so huge. He was on board. He thought it was a good move for us. So
nice.
While we were wrapping up Graveyard Shift 2, Mike was wrapping up the first U.S. Assassin book. And it was an awesome experience last year when we were fulfilling Graveyard Shift, because backers were getting Graveyard Shift 2, the Graveyard Shift supplemental book, U.S. Assassin, and then I was also doing Sea Dog, and that was fulfilling at the same time.
Sea Dog and Kill Switch.
Yeah, so people were getting all these Mark Poulton books sometimes on the same day. It was awesome. It was like Christmas for me, just going on Twitter and seeing all these pictures of people's books. I absolutely loved it.
That's cool. That's real cool. What was the idea for How long has Viking Wolf been in the making?
Not that long. It actually started off as an idea last year. I was just trying to come up with. I'm working on Graveyard Shift, and I was coming up with all these new characters to introduce into Graveyard Shift, and Viking Wolf was one of those characters that I came up with. But I thought, oh man, it's such a cool name and such a cool character that I hate to waste him as a supporting character for Graveyard Shift. So I pulled him out of the running to be in Graveyard Shift as a supporting character, and said I'm going to hold off on him until I have time to work on a new book that can just be Viking Wolf. How I came up with the idea was I'm a title guy. All my books start with a title. So I had Viking, and I was like, I need something that sounds cool with a Viking. And I was just literally running through every idea. At one point I had Viking Shark, and I was like, that is stupid. That'll never work. But Viking Wolf didn't sound stupid at all. In fact, I thought it sounded pretty awesome. So I what's up, Beyond Time?
How's it going, man?
So I had this idea, but I didn't have an artist or any idea of what I was going to do with it. But I opened up a Graveyard Shift t-shirt store, graveyardshiftmerch.com. Check it out for cooler shirts. And I commissioned an artist, a local artist that I know, Matt Dalton, to do a Graveyard Shift piece for me. And it was so awesome. It just blew me away that after I met up with him and I got the original art, I was like, we need to work on a book together. And he was like, nah. He was like, I don't want to do interiors. In fact, he just likes to ink. I knew him as an inker, but I saw the commissions he was doing. And I was like, you need to be drawing a book. You're a great inker, but you're an even more amazing penciler. And he was like, no, I'm just really not interested in penciling. I just want to ink. And afterwards I went home and I was like, I got to think of a way to get him to work with me. and then I remembered I had this character of Viking Wolf. And that weekend I wrote the entire script of Viking Wolf. And I sent it to Matt, and I said, Matt, read this script. I want you to do this book with me. I'll make it work, whatever you need me to do. And he was like, man, this is really cool. My only request is you bring in someone to help with the heavy lifting. And at the time I was talking with Renzo Rodriguez, who's worked with Richard Meyer on a bunch of projects. I'm a big fan of Renzo's work. And I was like, hey, I got this idea, this book that might happen. Would you be interested if it does? And he was on board because he was loving everything I was doing with, US Assassin and Sea Dog. And he was interested in working with me. So I was like, I went back to Matt and said, hey, I have this guy. He's interested. He'll help with the heavy lifting. I'll give him more of the storytelling pages. You can do more of the big, cinematic double page spreads and splash pages. And he was like, okay, I'm in. And so that's how the team came together. They got working on the script right away. We rounded out the team with Dexter Weeks, who I made Coney Waves with. He's our colorist. And Eric Weathers is our letterer, and at this point he pretty much letters everyone's book.
Sure seems that way.
Yeah, I think it would be easier to say what books Eric doesn't letter than what books he letters.
yeah, he's got an impressive resume.
Yeah,
AKA the CG letterer. Wow. Since you're all about story, you're a storyteller, you're a scriptwriter, what is your writing style? Like, do you start with an outline and then flesh it out? Do you lay down the major beats, and then flesh it out? Do you write a novel?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much how I do it. I outline. I have a lot of I think visually. I think like these are the big scenes that I want to see. These are the splash pages I want to see. Just big, impressive events that I think that'll really like bring in the reader and like make them say, "Oh man, this is awesome." I think like one of the things that really stuck to me with I once heard like Todd McFarlane talk about like comic books, and he said, "Well, is it cool?" Because that's what I go for. I always think like I want the coolest stuff in my books. So that's what I really that's what I honestly start with. I start with all the cool stuff, and then I like fill in that outline with all the things that connect one cool spot from the next, and just keep filling it out. And then honestly, I just write whenever I have free time. I actually have Google Docs. That's what I write all my scripts in Google Docs. And if I'm not at my laptop, if sometimes my son just wants me to sit down next to him and watch him play Pokemon on his device. Well, I have my phone out and I'm working on a script too, as I have one eye on Pokemon and one on my script. So I just try to get the writing in whenever I can. And then once it's done, I'll go through it a couple times. I don't write the dialogue until after the artwork comes in. Yeah, that's just the way I always worked. Especially when I worked with Rob Liefeld, he would I did a lot of scripting for him, so he would send me completed art and say, "Here you go," basically make this into a story. So I assumed like this was the way to go. I didn't really know anyone who wrote full script until like later on in my career. But for me, this is just the way it works for me. Plus, I love like the true collaborative effort of like the artist's work influences me. Like maybe he'll give a character a facial expression that I wasn't thinking of, and that'll just lead me down like a different path with like the dialogue and maybe even a character's personality too that I hadn't thought of before. So yeah, that's just one of the things that I enjoy. I enjoy putting saving the dialogue for last. You do run into problems sometimes. There might not be enough room for dialogue because the artist didn't know what I was going to write. So
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah,
You put all this effort into the art and making badass imagery into the panels, and then you got to find some creative way to squeeze in the dialogue.
yeah.
Wow, that's pretty sweet. Let's see. Everybody, if you haven't already, back Viking Wolf Book 1. If you can't at this time, maybe you're waiting for your next paycheck. Definitely share it all over your social media. If you've already backed it, thank you very much for your support. And but consider also backing it again. Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady.
Yeah, we just unlocked the $15,000 stretch goal, which is a trading card by my U.S. assassin partner, Mike McMahon, and that card is going to be of Reef, which is Viking Wolf's sidekick, and we announced the $20,000 stretch goal, which is a 11x17 print of Gun Goth, which is one of the characters we introduce in my Haunted Pizza yearbook, which is one of the books available in the campaign. My company that I publish my books through is Haunted Pizza. I own it with my son. And being such a 90s fan, a lot of the studios back then put out yearbooks that had like bios of the creators as well as like awesome pinups, exclusive art. They introduced new characters. I wanted to do the same thing. And Gun Goth is one of the new characters that I'm introducing that I hope to have something out for her next year. I'm working with Dexter Weeks and another artist, Mark Yoon, on that book.
Nice. Here. So I see your your fixed goal is $500.
Yeah, I mean, so the book's actually done.
Is it really?
Yeah, the book's all done. I actually put a lot of my money into this just to get it done in advance. Um, just I still work my day job. One of the artists, Matt Dalton, he still works his day job. I felt more comfortable just having the book fully done. That way we know what there's always some sort of issue that can pop up with indie comics, and I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to have everything done. Backers can rest easy knowing that they're going to get their book in a pretty timely manner. So once the campaign ends, I know it says 2 days are left. We're going to extend it another 30 once these 2 days are up. But once those 30 days are over, the book goes to the printer, and that should be the end of July. So maybe early August it goes to the printer. I get them back at the end of August, and I start fulfilling. So I don't expect a long wait for people.
Are you so after the next 30-day extension, are you going in demand after that?
Yeah, I think so. I'll leave it in demand for a while. I will probably take away some of the different tiers though, just because we have a collector's case. It's actually right here.
Oh, hold on.
The Viking collector's case that'll come with all the books we're offering, and I'm also adding books from my library of books that I've worked on throughout the years. I added this during the campaign. This is Coney Wave's Demon Slayer retailer incentive cover that I drew. It's my first published artwork. I added this to the box, and then I added the very first Coney Wave's First Wave collected edition 100-page black and white digest. I added that to the box. I'll probably add more stuff to the collector's case as the campaign goes on. It's just me going into I have a storage closet with all my comps from my career. I just got to see what I have enough of that I can offer it to everyone.
Yeah, that would have to be a lot with all the backers.
Yeah. Well, the backers of the collector's case, which I think at this point we have 20 backers to it. At the end, and we're at the halfway point. So, if I can find 40 to 50 copies of something, I think it's something I can add to the collector's case for people.
Nice. Was it, how Malin with Graveyard Shift tends to run 30 days, extend 30 days, and then cut it off there and don't do any in demand? Is that something that was wholly his idea, or is it something the two of you together decided was the best way to approach it?
We talked about it, and John gave me his reasoning that it would create this urgency that you have to back now, because once those 60 days are up, it's up. And I agreed with him. I think that first campaign, we probably cost ourselves $100,000 because when Graveyard Shift ended, we ended at, I think, $106,000. We were neck and neck with Red Rooster. We were both at the same time. We both ended at the same time. Well, Red Rooster stayed in demand, and I think that made it almost up to $200,000. So we realized that we probably cost ourselves $100,000. But then the next campaign happened, and that did fantastic for us. And we realized it started working. That people realized that those 60 days are the only time you can get the book. So each Graveyard Shift campaign just keeps getting bigger and bigger because of word of mouth, because people realize that, if you don't get it now, this is your only shot. You're going to miss out. And, still to this day, that's why we have to make the collected editions and stuff, because we're still bringing in new people who missed it the first time. So
yeah.
Yeah, so you
Gotcha.
know, I think in the long run it's paid off for us.
Do you envision doing that with your own books down the road?
So I don't. Unfortunately, my other books don't have the as much, aren't as popular as Graveyard Shift. So I think the smart move for me is just to keep them in demand for a while, and to you know, it's just another way to bring in more income for my creators that I work with, like Mike McMahon and Matt Dalton, guys like that. So I'm going to leave those in demand for at least a little while until I send the orders out to the printer.
Yeah, I personally really like the in-demand feature because sometimes I get carried away with my backings, and I'll spend a whole lot of money
Yeah.
once, and then I'll be dead in the water and not be able to back anything for the next 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, and sometimes just me as a fan, I'll see people start getting their packages of stuff, and I'll get like I'll get a little jealous and like, oh, I really should have backed that book, and I'll run the Indiegogo to you know, fingers crossed it's still in demand, and then I'll quick order myself a copy of something.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes I don't hear about something until late.
Yeah,
Like, you know, I try and be a promoter, but there are so many books
There's-
out there that it's
yeah,
hard to track.
there's so many good books right now. It's hard. A lot of great books, unfortunately, don't get the publicity I think they deserve.
Yeah, I felt the same way about a lot of campaigns I've come across, and it just is shocking sometimes seeing a campaign that isn't funded, but you see how beautiful it looks, and
Yeah, absolutely.
you get the gist of the story, and it looks really cool. And you just have to hope that the creator comes back and gives another shot.
Yeah, no, sometimes I'll see these books and I was like, man, I wish I could fund this myself. My wife would kill me if I did, but but I mean, I wish I could help everyone.
Yeah, me too. Viking Wolf, is it in any way inspired by John Malin?
No, not at all.
Okay. All righty.
I probably should have went for that awesome crossover though, and got John tried to get a variant cover from John. Maybe next time.
That's a good idea. I mean, maybe you could still do it like as an announced special thing that you release as a special tier for the next 30-day launch.
Yeah, it's possible.
Viking Wolf gets unleashed. 40 pages, 8.5 by 11, oversized prestige format.
Yeah, it's going to be like if you're familiar with the DC Black Label books. It's going to have a nice square bound spine and be you know, a little bit bigger than a normal comic.
And this is simply because I just don't know. When it comes to square bound spines, is it first stitched? Are the pages stitched and then it's glued, or is there no stitching whatsoever? It's all glued?
I think it depends on. I think you can have it done either way. I think for the most part, a lot of them are just glued in.
Okay. Let's check out this trailer real quick before we go any further.
Sure.
Cool.
Short and to the point. My goal was I wanted to make the most metal trailer I could, and I think I succeeded with it. Shout out to the Red Gaze. He's the one who edited that for me.
All right. That was my next question. You did your trailer. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do my own, but when I want it to look really good, I'll hire someone else.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm digging this art here. It's really cool.
Yeah, that cover is by Matt Dalton, and the colors are by Sebastian Cheng. Matt and Sebastian work together on a lot of covers for like Red Sonja, Vampirella, stuff like that.
Yeah, it seems like you ultimately end up, as people work with each other on projects. Artists seem to make connections with colorists that color their art well, and vice versa, I guess. So
Yeah.
they tend to be like teams.
Yeah, Matt asked if we could have Sebastian color his cover, and I was like, sure. We have Dexter in place for the interiors, though, and he did a great job too. When I showed Dex the artwork for the book, he was like, he said he got a Battle Chasers vibe from it, and he wanted to know if that was like a color palette that I would be into it. And I love Battle Chasers, so I was like all for it. So I was like, yeah, go for it. This piece is colored by Dexter, and that's Renzo's cover for Viking Wolf.
Oh, dang. Oh, man. Oh, man, torn up.
Yeah, no, I put a warning in the front that it's mature for gore and violence. I didn't want anyone to get upset when they bought this and saw it. Plus, I put all the images in the page. Look at all these poor wolves.
Dang. Oh, man. Holy cow.
Yeah, I think I purposely picked the most violent pages for the for the campaign.
I was about to say, my
Yeah.
goodness. Man, this is so cool.
So this page gets a lot of reaction from people. They don't know what's going on. So in the story, Viking Wolf, Prince Gunnar, he's from the Wolfshire, or the Moonshire, and he has to come to Earth to find his father who's been kidnapped. Well, his portal to Earth is through this human Travis. So every time he comes to Earth, he literally rips through Travis's body, and Travis gets transported to the Moonshire, where he is pieced back together magically. And then they switch spots again when it's Viking Wolf's time to go back to his world. But every time he comes to Earth, Travis gets ripped apart. It's almost like a running gag in the comic.
If it's not a spoiler or anything, when he turns back into Travis, does Travis rip out of the body of the wolf?
No. Travis just wakes up back on Earth.
Oh, jeez. And again, if it's not spoilery, does he feel pain when this happens?
Yeah, it is the worst pain imaginable for him.
Oh, man. Talk about having a bad day.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I actually started writing part 2 of the book, and I asked Matt and Renzo, I was like, is there anything you want me to add? And Matt was like, add even more gore to it. and Renzo was like, please add more sexy ladies to it. I was like, I got you, Renzo.
Dang.
This is another fan favorite page. This poor guy gets spaghetti head. He just gets his head blown up by. So Viking Wolf's weapon, his blood hammer, is powered by the blood of his enemies. So the more blood it collects in battle, the more powerful it becomes, to the point where it just overloads with power, and it just shoots this energy out at people. This poor guy has the energy shot at him, and it just explodes his head.
Wow. I love this this portion where the blood energy or whatever it is.
Yeah, just crackling out of the hammer. Yeah, it's really cool.
It kind of reminds me of you remember you probably saw the X-Men movies, the live actions,
Yeah.
and where Mystique tricks a guard into she seduces a guard and I guess knocks him out and injects him with iron in his blood. And then when the guard comes up to where Magneto was in prison, he detected the high iron content in the guard's blood. And, because he masters metal, he was able to pull the blood out, pull the iron through his skin right out of him. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty wicked. Man, tonight is one of those nights. I'm getting all kinds of spammers.
Oh.
Mostly from Twitch and Facebook, of all things.
Hmm.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me check something real quick.
Sure.
That's pretty badass, though. All right, there we go. Now we're talking. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So, perspective-wise, is this a young child or is it an adult woman?
It's an adult woman. It's Travis's girlfriend.
Okay.
It's the girl he wants to be his girlfriend, and she's a bit of a werewolf groupie that we'll come to find out.
A werewolf groupie. That's great. That's why she's digging on him.
Yeah.
Whoa, blood and gore galore.
Yeah, so I'm offering a black and white edition of the book as well. I had Jose Garcia do a cover for me, and I just thought this was so perfect that I didn't even want to get it colored. I was like, this will be the cover to the black and white edition of the book.
Jeez, this is cool.
Yeah, I really love Jose's artwork.
My goodness. Damn.
Just a sample of what the black and white interiors will look like. Just a lot of detail.
I love detail. Holy cow. Are your artists digital or traditional or both?
Matt is all traditional, and then Renzo is a combination. Sometimes he'll work digital, sometimes he'll work traditional. I think there are some Viking Wolf pages that he did traditionally.
Dang. Three versions to choose from: the Matt Dalton cover, the Renzo Rodriguez cover, black and white artist edition Jose Garcia cover. Then there's a Haunted Pizza yearbook.
Yeah, that's the one I was mentioning, where it's bios of all the creators I'm working with on my different properties, plus pinups and previews of upcoming properties, and that is Gun Goth, which this image, it's the cover to the book, but it's also the $20,000 stretch goal. It'll be 11 by 17 print, and the yearbook is actually going to be a foil cover.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I like it. Haunted Pizza. Oh, here's that collector's case you were showing us.
Yep, and that'll come with all the books offered in the campaign, plus the books that I've been adding, like the two Coney Waves books. Also comes with a metal trading card.
Nice. Oh, a metal trading card?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Let's see. Art by Renzo Rodriguez in extra weeks. Free Moral Compass minifigure to the first 100 backers.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I was really surprised, but this is what the little guy looks like.
Let me switch over.
This is me for anyone that doesn't realize. If you can't tell by the hair, I'm wearing the Haunted Pizza T-shirt. But I guess it was like earlier this year. Some of the people in the chat, they just nicknamed me the Moral Compass, and I ran with it. So when I was trying to think of something fun to do for this campaign, at the same time I got an ad for like get your own custom brick figure, and I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that I have to do it. So I made this available to the first 100 backers, and I was so nervous. I was like, if I don't go through these first 100, minifigures quick, I'm going to feel like an idiot. I'm going to feel like I wasted my money. But we went through them in a little over an hour, so I was very happy with that. I was like, money well spent.
Yeah. So they made it. They helped customize it and make it look like you, and then I guess based off of a picture, and then you decided if you wanted to buy any from them.
Yeah. I talked to one of their representatives, and they told me like what they could do. You're kind of limited on your choices, but I mean, I think for me, once I saw that they had that hair, I was like, well, that's pretty much me. If you can just get ahead with blue eyes, I think we're there. And people really seem to dig it. I had a bunch of people who missed out who messaged me. I said, don't worry, I'll do it for my next campaign as well. So there's a variant coming for the U.S. Assassin 3 campaign, which is going to launch after this. And this figure actually comes with a little mini brick comic book of U.S. Assassin Volume 1.
What?
Yeah, that he can hold in his hand. Yeah. Actually,
that's funny.
Yeah, actually, if let me see if I can pull it up. If you want to, I don't know if you can share my screen.
All right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Let me find it. Let's see.
Definitely back this cool book. If you've already backed it, thank you for your support. Consider backing it again.
All right, if you can share this.
Yeah.
Wow. So he
is bigger than you. Almost. Oh my gosh.
There we go. Yeah, it's the comic not in scale, but I think it's really cool. Especially seeing Mike McMahon's artwork on there. I really love it.
That's cool.
Yeah. And he's wearing a different shirt. He's wearing the U.S. Assassin Graveyard Shift logo shirt. So I'm excited about that.
I was gonna say that's pretty cool. Oh man. Are you gonna make a different brick set for every campaign now, and so that you can go whole town and?
I think it depends on how if people keep liking them, I'll keep doing them because I get a kick out of it too, and my family thinks it's funny. My son, he as soon as they came in, he had to make sure that he got one. He's waiting for his. He wants his own. So I think he created Sea Dog with me. I think if when we do another Sea Dog, maybe that'll come with a figure of my son.
That'll be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up with Lego, so I'm really into them. Oh
yeah, my son was huge into them. When he was younger, not so much anymore. But every now and then, if there's like a really cool set, he'll want it.
I'm sorry, remind me what Haunted Pizza is again? Is that
It's the name of my publishing company that I publish everything through.
Gotcha. 100% completed, as you mentioned before.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So you recently hit the 15,000 mark. Trading card of Viking Wolf Sidekick Reef by U.S. Assassins like McMahon. At 10,000, there was a 6x9 mini print to all backers featuring the art by Shadow Sentries, Eric Nieltowski.
Yep.
And then at 5,000, there was a full trading card to all backers featuring art by Otten Stubbs, Joe Sontag.
Yeah, Joe has a book coming out, I think next year, called Reaper Destroyer. He's a really fantastic artist as well.
That sounds familiar. Reaper Destroyer. He's probably mentioned it.
Yeah, he's. I think he's on besides his show and stuff. I think he's on with Leroy in the chat a bunch.
Cool. So let's check out these perks. I love these. I love when a campaign has a feature tier.
Did you want to pull the page back up?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
I was all, what? It's like, what the hell is he looking at? I was previously at the bottom of the page because I was going over the stretch goals.
I have to add the new one, the $20,000 stretch goal to the page. I did it in an update, but I forgot to add it to the bottom of this.
Did you say the 20,000 was going to be another metal?
It's going to be an 11x17 print of Gungoth from the Haunted Pizza yearbook cover.
Ah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. I got to remember to check out your next campaign for the figure. That's pretty sweet that the first all 100 figures were gone in like an hour.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was I was so nervous that night, but the the backers came through big.
Nice. Let's see. For sure. Yeah, now let's check out the tiers. I love when there's a featured tier because it's a good way for creators to do a kind of encapsulate what the campaign's about. Give you a good helping of the product all at once, and sometimes usually it's not the cheapest tier. It's usually not the most expensive. It's somewhere in between. And in your case, you've got is it 4 different covers or are it's a couple of prints?
Yeah, no, it's 4 different books. It's the Matt Dalton cover, the Renzo Rodriguez cover, and then the black and white edition of Viking Wolf, plus the Haunted Pizza yearbook. All 4 books, $100. But if you had signed up for our mailing list, you would have got a link to a discounted version of this for $75.
Oh my!
Yeah, which has become it's one of our most popular tiers. So I'm glad that people are taking advantage of the mailing list. Totally.
Yeah, I've got to double check because I don't remember if I got on the mailing list in time. The yearbook, that's like profiles of all the creators, right?
Yep, and pinups and stuff like that. Yeah. So it'll be like 1 page bio, and then on the opposite page, pinup of their artwork.
Oh, okay. All right. Is there by chance like a section where you actually see a bunch of people listed or some candid photographs and that say, funniest one in school.
No, nothing like that. There are photos of all the creators and stuff. Some have sent in funny pictures. Like I asked Matt Dalton to give me a headshot that I could put in the yearbook, and he just sent me a picture of his bicep because he's a bodybuilder. So
That's funny. Welcome, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Oh. All right. All right. So then you break it down to the individual books. The Matt Dalton one.
Yep.
Cover. Now, let's see. Yeah, they're all square bound. So these are hardcover?
No, they're soft cover, square bound spine. The Viking Wolf books are oversized, 8.5 by 11. The Haunted Pizza Yearbook is standard comic book size, but it has a foil cover.
Sweet. All right, so there's the Matt Dalton cover. We've got the Renzo Rodriguez cover. Wow. So far, people are really digging the one with the that one weapon. What is it? Is that the kind of weapon that's similar to the one that Thor has in the MCU movies? Breaker.
Yeah, I guess it kind of looks like that Stormbreaker weapon. This weapon's powered by blood though, so a little different.
Yeah, like one side is an axe and the other side is a hammer.
Is a hammer. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. So that one's proving pretty popular if you go by the number claimed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Renzo Rodriguez. I mean, they're all awesome, actually. The black and white artist edition.
Yep.
Yeah. Really pops. Haunted Pizza Yearbook. Oh, how many pages does the yearbook end up being?
24 pages.
All right. And let's see, both covers of book one. All right. So these are the physical books, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Next one is the Triple Threat.
That's all three Viking Wolf books, Matt's cover, Renzo's cover, and then the black and white edition.
All right. And then we got a collector's case.
Yep, and that comes with everything, plus the extra books that have been added throughout the campaign, and the metal trading card.
All right. So how does this collector's case open? Is it kind of like...
yeah, I'll show you. It has a magnetic opening.
Ooh, I like that. Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's very similar to like if you've seen the cases Peter Simeti does for Alternate Comics.
All right.
Except I had to find an oversized version of it because Viking Wolf's going to be a bigger book, so I had to. Luckily, they make a bigger case because I've had people say that they love the collector cases so much that they're only going to back at that level for my campaigns. So I had to quick scramble to see if they made an oversized case.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That really says something when you start hearing from backers who are going to start backing at that level.
Yeah, that's a big commitment. So yeah, I was shocked when people started telling me that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really digging the collector's cases that CG is releasing with their campaigns. Whenever I can afford them, I go for it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is this a spoiler? Did the owl character just get its throat slit?
Yeah, I mean he's not a huge part of the story, so
all right.
I thought it was okay to to reveal that.
No one is ever really dead. Page 1 original artwork. So we got some physical pages. Nice.
Yeah, I actually have the page right here. Matt's artwork is so detailed. It's just a thing of beauty.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That is sweet. Is that basically 11 by 17 Bristol board?
Yep.
Cool.
So we have a bunch of Matt's artwork available. The cover has already been taken, and another interior pages have been taken.
Page 11 original artwork. So does this mean some of your pages, the whole page is a single image?
Yeah, it'll be a splash page.
Wow. That's pretty sweet. That was page 11. This one is page 15. I'm just trying to make out what's happening on all these pages.
If you want, I can see if I have that page. I know I have it. I just got to find it in the stack. If you want a better look at it, let's see.
Oh yeah, for sure. Page 24, original artwork. All I know right now is that they look phenomenal.
Yeah, I think this was 15.
Oh.
This is the one where he's.
Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That one cracks me up. Oh my gosh. Holy crap.
Yeah. What a killer page. They're all incredible.
Literally killer. Oh, damn. Page 24. We got pages 2 and 3. So this is a double page spread?
Yep.
Oh, man. Wow. Oh, hold on. Oh, nice. Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
Pretty awesome.
Dang. Jeez, man. You got a good team here. Woo-wee. Pages 8 and 9 original artwork.
Yeah, that's the page with the owl.
20 and 21. Oh my gosh, you got a lot of double page spreads in this.
Yeah,
book.
the books. I really wanted the artwork to shine, so I gave the artists a lot of room to show off.
Nice. And I love it in campaigns when it still shows that even if it's grayed out, all the sold out tiers.
Yeah.
Is this a reminder of what I missed out on? Yeah. And it also serves as a reminder,
Yeah, this is the page that sold.
Let me get a closer look at that. Ooh. Oh. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a flashback scene, sort of like the history of Viking Wolf's family and the creation of the Bloodhammer and how it was passed down to him.
My goodness.
Yeah. Really cool stuff.
Jeez. Just a sec.
And then the only other page that sold is the cover, which Eddie Winkler is the lucky owner of now.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm happy it's going to a good home.
Yeah, seriously. Eddie Winkler is cool.
Yeah.
He rocks. Let's see here. Yep. The cover original artwork. Sweet. This is a freaking cool campaign, man.
Thank you.
Lots of great stuff in it. So we've got 2 more days in the first 30.
Yep.
And then you plan on extending for another 30.
That's right. Yep.
Probably go in demand after that. Sweet.
Yeah, most likely. Yep. So.
I love how it says 3,070% funded.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I put a lot of my money into this just to get it done in advance. So the book was going to get made regardless. That's why the goal was so low.
Yeah. Well, if you can afford to take that chance and have your goal set that low,
Yeah.
It really benefits you on Indiegogo's site because the faster you get funded, the hotter you are, and the more likely you'll be kept on the first page or two.
Yeah, absolutely.
And supposedly, from what I've heard from a person who was kind of monitoring some of the analytics of Indiegogo, about 50 to 60% of the traffic, at least for that one particular campaign, came from Indiegogo's page, from being there, browsing, and, people already browsing around Indiegogo, I guess.
That's good to know, yeah.
So that's a huge chunk. And the faster you get funded, the more promotion you get.
Yeah, no, we were I want to say we were the #1 comic on Indiegogo for maybe the first 4 days that we launched. So yeah, it was great to see us constantly up there.
Nice. I take it you were fully funded within the first hour or so, or less?
Oh yeah. I think we were funded in like the first maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. I launched on Michael Bancroft's channel, and we just had an awesome time. I think we raised like $8,500 in the 1 hour I was on Bancroft's channel, and then I went over to Shane Davis's channel, and we got up to I think almost up to $10,000 that first night, and we got rid of all the 100 moral compass figures. So it was it was an awesome night.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. Holy cow. So when you conclude the first 30, are you like doing a quote unquote closeout stream?
I have a couple of streams set up for Sunday. I'm going to be on Mandy's channel at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then at 9 o'clock I'm going on with Critical Blast.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, I have a couple things set up. I guess for like a closeout, but we'll see how it goes. If things are going really well, maybe I'll jump over to my channel and go live as well.
Do you think you're going to go keep going till the
3 a.m.?
Yeah, 3 a.m. Eastern.
I work a day job, so I might have to go to bed and just start add the next 30 days a little earlier. We'll see how the night goes on Sunday.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Man, this is so cool. Let's run the trailer once more. I think you got one more backer tonight.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for supporting this campaign. It's definitely worthwhile. It's a great looking campaign, great looking product, and Mark Poulton, he's been doing a number of other projects, so he's seasoned, you might say, and he has a reputation for delivering. So kick ass.
So that's Joe Sontag from the Hot and Stuff show, screaming Viking Wolf at the end.
Oh, is it?
He used to be in a metal band, and so when WyzGyz was putting my video together, I hit up Joe and said, "Hey, I have this idea of you just screaming Viking Wolf at the end of the trailer. Would you be into that?" And he was like, "Oh, I would love to do it." So it worked out great. I love that scream at the end.
Oh, nice. All right, fantastic. This is freaking cool. I think I still need to back it, so I got to get off my ass and back it, but I need the money. So it'll happen though. Is there anything I might have missed? Something that we forgot to cover? Beyond Time says, "Great show, guys. Great looking boat, Mark."
Thank you. You know what? I think we went over everything. Like I said, the book's 100% done. So end of July, when the campaign ends, once I get the money from Indiegogo, this book goes out the door to the printer. I hope to start fulfilling the end of August.
Nice. I am going to give you the floor here. Would you share with the world how you can be found on social media?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Coney Waves, the name of my very first comic book series. I also have a YouTube channel called Primetime Poulton. Every Sunday, I talk wrestling on WyzGyz with my co-host, Phil McNulty. And then every Thursday, it's me, Phil McNulty, and Sean Aaron for the Best Friends show, because they are my best friends. And then every now and then, I'll just stream doing an unboxing if I get a crowdfunding book in. I like to open it live and go over it with everyone in the chat.
Nice. The wrestling segment you do, what kind of wrestling do you cover?
Oh, so WyzGyz, we cover Impact Wrestling and AEW Wrestling. I'm a big Impact fan. Phil, my co-host, he's a big AEW fan. You know, we'll cover WWE stuff. Like today, there was a lot of wrestlers released, so I'm sure we'll talk about that. And if there's a pay-per-view, we'll probably cover it. But for the most part, WWE lately has been really stale, so it's almost a chore to watch it. So we don't talk about it as much as when WyzGyz first launched. Now it's pretty much strictly Impact and AEW, because that's what we're into.
Now, what makes Impact and AEW? I'm not too familiar with it. Impact sounds familiar, but can't really place it.
Yeah, Impact was TNA wrestling back in the early 2000s. I guess maybe 5 years ago they switched their name to Impact Wrestling to get away from the TNA.
Exclusively women's wrestling?
No. It was a mix. I mean, they had a women's division, but that wasn't really the focus of it. In the early days of TNA, they had women dancing in cages. Yeah, but it stood for total nonstop action.
Okay, all right.
But they when they got a new owner, they decided to rebrand under Impact Wrestling, and I don't know. It's just been a company I've always been a fan of. I was a big WCW wrestling fan, and when they went out of business, I was always looking for that alternative. So when TNA popped up, I became a big fan of them, and they had Sting, which is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. And then I guess it was last year AEW sprung up, and that gives me a strong WCW vibe to it as well. I mean, they're on TNT, which WCW used to air on,
Okay.
and I think it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. There's plenty of choices. It's still fine to be a WWE fan, but there's other choices out there. There's Impact Wrestling, there's AEW. I mean, there's other things like Major League Wrestling and Ring of Honor. So yeah, you could literally watch a different wrestling show every night of the week, because I think there's wrestling on every night now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm so behind on this. I used to, as a kid, like 80s and 90s, I used to watch WWF and some WWE.
Yeah.
The type of wrestling I was familiar with was primarily like Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho Man Savage, those kinds of characters, Andre the Giant. But that style of wrestling, everyone would always laugh about it because they classified it as fake. I mean, it's still very athletic and everything, and it does require skill to be able to fall properly and stuff like that. But it's all scripted and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I fell in love with wrestling during the Hulk Hogan. Roddy Piper was my guy. I think back then it was more character driven, and today it's more like based on crazy athletics and flips and stuff that is just like unbelievable.
In the types of wrestling you're focusing on now, do they focus less on like all the drama, little segments, scripted fights, and?
I mean, there still are storylines, but they're not as outlandish as they were back in the day with, like, I don't know, Jake the Snake interrupting Macho Man's wedding and Macho Man getting bitten by a poisonous snake and stuff like that. Papa Shango hypnotizing Ultimate Warrior, stuff like that.
Oh, that stuff was goofy.
Yeah, it's still great to go back and watch that stuff, though, just for nostalgia and just, I don't know, the characters were larger than life back then. They were. I always said, like, pro wrestlers are like the closest to superheroes there are, with the crazy outfits and
they are.
Yeah,
that they are. Oh, that was cool. So yeah, getting back to wrapping things up. For all my social media, just check out the bottom, the stream description of every one of my streams and videos. I want to thank everyone in the chat for joining us. You guys are awesome. Thanks for your support. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay. And thanks to our very special guest, the Moral Compass, Mark Poulton. Y'all, we'll close it out and have a great night. See you on the next stream.
Bye, guys.
Final guest is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sameti. The YouTube translation. WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.